Okay, so as I emailed you, so we are going to have an extra session of the episode one regarding to the installation Python and the PyCharm, then finally set up for the anyone Python. I expect many of the students already installed the Python and PyCharm, but I realized that during the first episode, the many of you, so specifically those who do not have any background in program language, also those who didn't take the any of Python before, struggling from the installation of Python and PyCharm and also setting up the configuration. So today I'm going to show how to do that. Then you guys can successfully start the any on Python from Friday, the episode 2. So please follow me the step by step. So if you do not follow or if you do not understand, please use the chatting box. We do not have the TA today, so probably the my response is sometimes the slow or the cannot answer all of your question, but I will try my best. So first, we are going to start the installation Python. To do that, so let me share my screen. I'm going to explain based on the Windows today. Okay, so this is my Windows, the next to my the computer. So actually, I'm using MacBook, and I realized that a lot of students use the Windows in any on Python. So then the to install the Python. Anyway, the first when we are doing the program language like the C, C++, so any program language, we need to install the software first. So if you want to use the Java, you need to install Java. So if you want to use the C, you need to install the C. So if you want to use the Python, then you need to install the Python. Specifically, when as I explained before, the installation Python. Python means a Python interpreter. In other words, it's a Python. The what? So it's a translator. Okay. So let's the let me okay. So first, why don't you start your Chrome browser? So you can start any browser. Okay. Then the type python.org to install. Okay. I will give the link. It's a python.org. Then, so depending on your the computer, it's the actually the detect the computer like the Windows or MacBook. So you don't have to worry about the to install which one. So if you click the download, the default is the latest version. So latest version is a 3.9.1 as you can see over here. So it's a 3.9.1. But I do not recommend the new one always. Instead, we'd better use the previous version. It's the more stable. So I'm not going to install the 3.9. This if you already download and install, it's a fine. But if not, you can select a different version. So uh, this time I'm going to, but I do not recommend to install the latest one. But if you do not know, just install the 3.9. So if you wanna install the different version, so let me the show you how to do that. You can click the download, and you can click the Windows. If we are using the Mac, you can click the Mac OS. Then there are the previous version. Please ignore the 2 point something. Instead, you can install the 3.8 like this one. So my preparation is the 3.8 point something. So let's see the Windows. The also another the problem is the whether do I have the 32 or the 64. If you do not know, just select the 64 because the most of the computer nowadays is the 64-bit computer. Okay, so you can select the Windows installer, the 64-bit, and the left-hand side you will see the download, right? This one. And meanwhile, it takes a time to download the PyCharm. So we are going to download the PyCharm also. So to download the PyCharm, you can search the Google PyCharm download. And the first one is the link. I'm going to share the link for the down. Let me copy. And this is the PyCharm download the link. So there are two versions. One is the professional, another one is the community. So you can select the community version. It's the free. Okay. So, but the professional you need to pay later. It's just a trial. So you can click the download. Then it's the 350 or the 400 megabyte. It takes a time. So just leave it. Okay. Then go back to the Python. We are going to finalize the installation. So if you can follow me so far, please give me thumbs up. Okay, you can use the reaction button so that I can recognize how many of you are following me. Okay, very nice. So probably your Python download is done. So please click this one. Then it's starting the install the Python, whatever the version you select. Okay. Then here, if you do not know, whenever you install the program, if you do not know so how to install, just the install now. Customize is you need to select a lot of options. So we are not going to use this, but the install now. But one important thing is please select this. Add Python to paths. So I'm going to explain later what that means. So you can check. So add. Only thing you need to be careful when you install the Python is to select this. Then you can select the install now. That's it. Oh yeah, yes. You can give the permission to install. Yes. Then nothing else. Just the wait for the installation. Depending on your computer, it may take a time. But usually 1 or 2 minutes is enough to install the Python. And if you see that this message setup was successful, then you can just close. You can just close. Okay. Then Python installation is done. Okay. To check whether you installed successfully the Python or not, you can go to this part. The type here to search. Oops, this is so you can click this one. Then if you type the Python, then if you see the Python, like this one, so which means that you successfully insert the Python. We are not going to use this, so just to ignore this. So then next, the PyCharm. So why don't you close the tab for the Python? Then we are going to see so in my case, I already download the PyCharm. So how many of you already download the PyCharm so far? Is it done? If you download it, so why don't you give me a thumbs up? So you can use the reaction button. Okay, so Daniel did, and Joshua did. Samuel, did you download? Okay, very nice. And Sean, did you download? Okay, so very nice. So if you already download, why don't you click this same thing? So most of the Windows, the software, you can do this way to install. Okay, then you can give the permission, yes. Then the welcome. So just most of the software is just a yes or next and the check the such a thing. You don't have to change. So that is the kind of pro tip when you install, but you do not know how to install. Just click next. So you can next, and you don't have to change it first time. So if you do not know, here there are a bunch of options. So if you do not know what that means, so you can just the click the next. But this is useful. So this the option is useful. Let me so this one. So that means on your desktop there will be the menu to start the PyCharm. Otherwise, you should type every time. So this one is useful. So, but if you forget, it's totally fine. Don't worry. So let me clear. Then you can start the next and install. Then that's it. Very simple. So you already can see this one. The PyCharm is there is an icon, new icon for the PyCharm because I select the option. So for the launcher. So it may take the 1 or 2 minutes or so. So you can just wait it. So almost done. Okay, so run PyCharm. So we are going to start later. So you can just finish. Then you can close this one. That's it. So very easy. So I'm going to wait for you guys to complete the download and installation of the PyCharm. So if you are done, the installation Python, installation the PyCharm, please give me thumbs up. So Jeongmi did, very nice. And who else? So if you complete the installation part, please give me thumbs up. Samurai, did you install the PyCharm? Okay, the Daniel did, very nice. And Joshua also did. Then the Sean looks like oh yes. So then I think the most of you complete the installation. Okay, let's move. Yes. So as I said, the 3.9 is good. It's no problem. But I recommend to use the previous one because not always the new is better. But if you already installed, totally fine. So do not delete. Okay. So 3.9 is fine. Okay, then the next thing is, so before we start the setting up the PyCharm, the project, so as oops, my the sheet is busy. So why don't you create on your desktop? So this is the desktop, okay? The create the folder. So create the folder like the right click and the new folder. So anyone Python, any Python. So like whatever the name. So this folder will be used for your the anyone Python working folder. So from now on, so if I ask to send the email, the file, you can download and save the file in this folder. So my case, so I already create the anyone Python folder. So you can see the first file, anyone Python, this one. So you can download this file. Let me give the link over here. So you can download this file and save the file into your Anyone Python folder like this. Or I can share the file to you. Let me share the file. The desktop, any Python, S3, and assignment. And here is the file. So if you want, you can download the file from the chat box. You can click and you can download it. So please download the zip file and save the file to the Anyone Python folder that you create. Let me explain one more time. So you can create the one folder, right click and the new and create the folder. So then name as the Anyone Python. Then, so please download the Anyone Python zip file. So zip file is the archived file. It's the I put the all the file that we are going to use during the class. So you can download this file, then save the file to this folder. Okay. So if you can follow me so far, please give me thumbs up. Okay, the Samuel did. Very nice. The Joshua, the Daniel did. Oh, so we have one more student, Helen. So we already installed the Python and PyCharm, and we are creating the Anyone Python folder. Then save the file, the zip file that I sent you, or you can see the chat box. You can download the Anyone, the S03-E01.zip file. So zip file is the archive file. I put all the file that we are going to use during the class in one file. So which means we need to extract the file. So how can we extract? Do you remember? So how can we extract the zip file? If you do not know the menu, when you are using computer, just right click. If you right click, you can see the extract all. Okay, so you can see the right click on the mouse and extract all. So you can extract the file. So then you can extract. Then you can close this one. So this is the zip file. This is the unzip, the extracted folder. So if you click this one folder, so another Anyone Python folder. So we are going to use the folder as the project later. So this is important to understand. So in PyCharm later, so this is a PyCharm. In PyCharm, this folder will be the project on the PyCharm. So it's the same thing basically. So any Python S03-E01 is the project name in the PyCharm. Okay, so which means when we start the PyCharm, we are going to create the project by pointing to this folder. So you should remember this Anyone Python folder. Okay, so please unzip the file. Let me show you again. So you can click your Anyone Python folder, then download this file, any Python zip file, and right click and extract all. Then you can extract. Then you will see the folder. This folder and zip file are different. Zip file is the archive file. It's just to put everything in a box. Okay, you cannot use it until you extract the file. So we extract the file. So this is the extracted folder. So keep in mind, the Mac, the OS X, ignore. We don't use this file. Okay, this is because I'm using MacBook. So it's automatically created. Just ignore this one. Even you can delete this one. You can delete. So do not use the Mac OS. the X. Instead of any Python S03. This will be used, but the keep in mind the as you can see over here. Let me show you the clearly. My the Siri keep asking me. Let me close. So you can see the anyone Python, any Python, and there's any Python one more. So this is a little bit tricky. So we are going to use the most inner anyone Python folder as a project. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? One more time. So you create the anyone Python folder, then download the zip file, then unzip. When you unzip this file, so there's another any Python S03-E01 folder. So this folder will be used for the project in PyCharm. Okay. So let me check the question. Okay, so if PyCharm is working, so you can use your PyCharm. Okay. So please wait. We are not doing yet. Okay. I'm going to cover step by step. Okay. So this is the folder that we are going to use. So you should remember where is this one. Okay. This is the anyone Python folder under desktop. And this is the folder that you create. But inside one more folder, any Python S03-E01 folder. So this folder will be used for the project. Okay. Then so we are ready to start the PyCharm. So how can we start? You can click the PyCharm over here, or you can type PyCharm. Then you will see community version and click it. So either way is fine. Then when you start the PyCharm first time, so you will see that this one just do not import the setting. And okay, first time only. The first time only. So this is a PyCharm welcome screen. So can you see this PyCharm welcome screen right now? If you can see the PyCharm welcome screen, please give me thumbs up. Okay, Jeongmi did. Very nice. If you can see the welcome window, please give me thumbs up. You can click this icon, or you can type the PyCharm, then select the PyCharm Community Edition. Then the first time will be like this. So I didn't do anything, just you can start the PyCharm. Okay, you can just start the PyCharm. Then that's it. In case it's the first time, so you will see the option, just ignore and next. So everybody can follow me. So if you can see the PyCharm, please give me thumbs up. Some of you, if you already started the PyCharm before, it may be slightly different. But if this is the first time, you will see the same window as me. Okay, very nice. The Samuel did, and the Jeongmi did, and anyone else? So while we are waiting for the other student, so PyCharm is not the Python. One more time, PyCharm is a software to use Python. Let me explain using my iPad. So so Python. So this is our computer like this. Then inside the your computer, we install the Python. So this is a Python software. So, but Python is what? It's a translator. Actually, the Python can translate the English style like the high level language to the machine code. So computer, the machine code. So actually computer can understand only this. So computer cannot understand the Python code. So, but we are using the English style, high level language. So Python is for you and for us. So that the Python code is translated to the machine code using what? The Python interpreter. Then to use the Python language, so sometimes not easy. Like for example, like you guys for beginner, it's not easy to use the Python. So there is a program to help for coding, Python coding. So that program is also computer program. It's called the IDE. So integrated development environment. It's an IDE. So one of the example of the IDE is the PyCharm. So PyCharm is the sometimes it's called the editor. Okay, it's a coding tool. So without Python, only you have PyCharm. You cannot use Python. Okay, so that is the reason. First, we install the Python, then install PyCharm. Using PyCharm, we are going to code Python, and it will be translated, and finally run on your computer. So that is the PyCharm. So let's get back to the PyCharm again. So here, so how do we start the PyCharm? PyCharm always start with the project. Okay, there are two ways to start the PyCharm, the project. One is the new one, another one is open. But we didn't create any project. But as I said, the folder here is the folder is the project on PyCharm. So we don't have to create it. Instead, just select the open. Okay, why don't you select the open? Then your desktop is under users. Sometimes, so you can select your username. So in my case, it's Lee, and so the desktop is here. But sometimes if you are using the OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, so there is one more folder. It's called the OneDrive. So you can select. So you can select the desktop. Then, so my N1 folder is here, N1 Python and N1 Python S03. So this is actually the same as this one. This is the same as not this. It's like this. So N1 Python is actually this. Then I can select my sheet is keep busy. Okay. And any Python O3, then as I said, the most inside inner folder, any Python S03. This is the folder that we are going to use the project. Okay, so you can select this. So any Python S03-E01, then OK. So there are a lot of the options, so you don't have to use the don't show tips and close like this. Okay, but I cannot see anything. If you see the left hand side here, so you can see the project. So you can click the project, and you will see the folder any Python S03-E01. If you click the arrow, then you will see like the first carol and intro. Actually, so this is the same as this one. So any Python. If you compare this folder and this one, you will see the carol is carol, and the word is word, and the first carol is here, and intro is here. So can you see that? So this is the same thing. Okay, so you don't have to create a new project. Instead, you can select the folder as a project. That's the most important part. Okay, then before we start, so there are several things we need to set up. So why don't you go to the file? Okay, so go to the file. Please follow me. Please follow me step by step. So this is a little bit confusing part, but this is important to use the PyCharm for your Python practice. So why don't you click the setting from the file? Click the setting. So PyCharm provides a lot of options. Some of the options are very useful, but the others are not. So I'm going to show some important option that you are going to that you need to set up. So first thing is why don't you click the system setting? System setting. So you can see the menu like the open project on startup. So this is not useful. So we are not going to use the uncheck this one. Because if you select this, whenever you start the PyCharm, it will open the last project automatically. So if you start a new project, you need to change it. So I don't like this option. So it's annoying, really. So why don't you uncheck this one? Why don't you uncheck? So one more time. So you can, let me show you again. So let me show you again. So you can go to the file and setting, and so you can select the system setting and find the project and uncheck the reopen project on startup. Then apply. Okay, that's it. The next thing is okay, let's close. Then we will see. I'm going to show the step by step. So close and exit. Then start PyCharm. And you can see the welcome window instead of the last the project. Okay, so why don't you? And then you can see here the anyone Python S03-E01 as a project already, because we open the previous one. So why don't you follow me up to here? Do not click the project yet. Okay, do not click the project yet. So Daniel, can you see this menu? If you can, this one, I'm going to explain from here. Otherwise, I will show you how to start the setting up later. So change the setting. There are several ways. So one is you can start the welcome window, then click the customize. So if you don't like the color, you can select a different color over here. And if the font is too small or too large, you can change it. But that is not important. The more important thing is that we are going to point the Python, as I explained. So PyCharm is not Python. PyCharm does not have a Python. So we need to specify the Python by all setting. Why don't you click all setting? It's as similar as the last setting. So actually, this is the same menu that we opened, but it's for all the projects. So you can go to the system setting. That's we uncheck, but we are going to move on the Python interpreter. The Python interpreter is here. So this is the most important part after you install the PyCharm. The Python interpreter. Okay. So can you follow me? So if you can follow me up to here, please give me thumbs up. Can you follow me so far? Please give me thumbs up. Okay, the Samuel did and the Daniel did. Okay. And what about the other students? So please start your the PyCharm, then go to the customize. Let me show you again. Okay, let me show you again. So once you start the PyCharm first time, so it will be like the something here, not like this, but similar. The left hand side is the project customizer plugin, and this one. So let me. Oops, I'm sorry. So let me show you again. So this is a welcome window for the PyCharm. So before just before we select the project by opening the directory folder, but this time we'd like to specify the point, the Python to do that. So customize, okay, then all setting, then the Python interpreter, okay. So Python interpreter. So if you set up the first time, so there's nothing like the me. So there's no interpreter, no Python is selected, which means you cannot use the Python on your PyCharm. So how can we select the Python? So you can click this button. So this button, still nothing. So then select the show all. So still nothing. Then click the plus button, left hand side, bottom left, plus. Then here, so do not select the virtual environment, the first one. Do not select the first one. Instead, select the system interpreter. The third one, the system interpreter. Okay. Select the system interpreter. Then you can click the arrow button. There are Python that you are able to use. So in this case, the 3.8. I installed the 3.8, so you can select this. Okay. So this is the old one I installed before. So I'm not going to use the old one instead. So I installed just before. You probably have the one interpreter. So you can select this. Then please click OK. And you are able to see the one Python interpreter over here. So select OK. Then finally, your Python is selected on your PyCharm, which means you are able to use your PyCharm. Okay, and it's selected, then OK. Then you are ready. So let's go back to project. So in my case, I delete the project. So I'm going to open the project again. Yes. Then this is the ready to use the PyCharm for your programming. Okay, I'm going to wait for you guys to follow me. Yes. So summary is not the problem. So the setting may be different. It's not a huge problem as long as you are able to use. So you can see the sometimes the progress bar. So don't worry, just ignore. So from time to time, PyCharm try to synchronize your environment. So don't worry. And we are ready to use. So it's the last step. So what we are interested in is the Python, the file. So these two are the Python file. First, I'm going to start the intro.py. So double click the intro.py. So this is the editor. So finally, you are able to code over here. But this time, we are not going to change anything. Just you can see this. Okay, then. So this is the code. So what we want to do is run the program. So here definitely it's you don't have to ask me. Okay, so how do I start? So how do I start the Python? So season 1 and season 2, we have used this option. So why don't you go to the menu? You can see the run. Okay. Why don't you go to the menu, then run. Okay. Then click the run, this, and click the intro and run. Then this will be like this. Then it's fine. Or you can use this button and run it. Or you can use this button, then run it. So that means whenever you click this button, and or this one, so Python, bottom right corner, Python 3.8 that you install will be installed. Okay, but we are not going to use this way in season 3. So if you do not know what that is, don't worry. Instead, I'm going to use you can see the terminal on the bottom. Okay, you can see the terminal on the bottom. Why don't you click the terminal? Okay, then you will see like this. Then you can type the Python, then or py, then intro.py. Then you can give your name like the Jeongkyu. Then enter. Then if you see your name here, then you are ready. Okay, so what is your question, the summer? Yes, you can ask a question. What is your question?
So can I just unmute it?
I cannot hear you. You can type or you can say.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you. So you can type on your chatting box. Okay, so what about the other students? So can you follow me so far? It's almost done. Okay, almost done. terminal is here. So bottom. So on the bottom, you can see the terminal. Can you see? On your bottom of the Windows, PyCharm Windows, so you can see the terminal over here. You can just click this terminal. Okay, so if you can run your program using terminal, please give me thumbs up. Please give me thumbs up. So if you can run the Python program. MacBook is that basically it's the same thing. Okay, so far. It's not much different. So let me show you how to do that after this one, because right now the majority of the student are using the Windows. Right now I'm explaining based on the Windows. After finalize, I will show you how to do that on MacBook. Yes, why don't you download this file? Let me copy and paste. Let me upload again. So why don't you download this file? I upload the file to the chat box. So you can download this one. The save the file to your Anyone Python folder under the desktop. Then the unzip, and then you can select that folder from your the PyCharm project. Okay, let's try the one more. So we run the intro.py. Instead, why not the season one Python first carol.py. So Python first carol.py. It's a case sensitive, so be careful the upper character or the lower case character. Then enter. Then you will see this one. If you can see this, you are ready. Okay. So that is the first carol. So if you double click the left hand side, the first carol.py, so that is this program. We did the carol programming during the season one. So if you want to know more about the season one carol, so you can watch the video. Okay, so then there's one more thing for the next episode. So if you are using why don't you close and exit? Okay. So why don't you type the menu PowerShell. PowerShell. So why don't you type the PowerShell? So over here. Okay. So as I said, the F is the uppercase. The K is uppercase. Okay. .py. It says that there is no Python means, so you need to select the Python, or that is the problem. So why don't you follow me this time? So PowerShell. So why don't you type the PowerShell on your search menu, then enter. So you should have the blue screen like this. You should have the blue screen like this for PowerShell. Okay. Everybody can have the blue screen. Please follow me. This is also another important one for the next class. So you can type here the PowerShell, then enter. Then you will see the blue screen. Here, why don't you type the Python? Python, Python. Then if you can see this kind of message, you are good. Okay, you are good. So everybody can get this one. If you type the Python, so Python 3 point or something. So if you can get the blue screen window with the PowerShell, then you can find the Python. Please give me the thumbs up. The Sean, if you cannot see the find the Python, which means your Python is not installed correctly. Okay. Sean, can you find the Python on your PowerShell? Yes, when you install, please select the check. Do you remember I mentioned several times? When you install the Python, you need to check the add Python to path. If you do not check, then you cannot find the Python, even though you install the Python. Okay. So why don't you close this one? Then we are going to use this PowerShell in the next class on your PyCharm. So next thing is we are going to set up the PowerShell for your terminal. So why don't you start the welcome window? PyCharm. Why don't you start the PyCharm? Why don't you start the PyCharm? Then customize. Then customize. Then all setting. All setting. Here, we are going to select the tools. That's good. Very nice, John. So select the tools. And terminal. Select the terminal. So select the terminal. Then you can see this part, the shell path. Shell path. So right now it's a CMD, but we are going to change this one as the power shell. SHELL. So PowerShell. So why don't you change the power POWER shell PowerShell.exe. Okay. So here dot exe. So why don't you change the shell path as the PowerShell.exe. Okay. So one more time. So let me apply. Okay. Then go to the customize. Okay. And all setting. All setting and the terminal. Tools. Going to the tools and terminal and shell path. So you can give the PowerShell.exe instead of CMD.exe. PowerShell. Okay. Then save it. Then let me clear. So then going back to the project and select this one. Select the previous project. Then your terminal from now on, this is the PowerShell. Okay. From now on, this is the PowerShell. So you can use the PowerShell command on the PyCharm. So still same thing, Python. Then the first carol.py, then enter, then you will run the program. Okay. Any questions? That's all the thing I prepared. Any questions? So shell path again. Let me show you. shell pass. One more time. Here, so start the PyCharm. Then customize. So you can select the customize and all setting. All setting. Then among the menu, select the tool and then terminal. Then shell pass is here. You can give the PowerShell.exe. Okay. Then you can use from now on you are able to use a PowerShell for your terminal. Okay, so let me share the screen for my desktop. Then I will show you the MacBook version. It's basically same thing. Let me start the PyCharm. So this is my PyCharm on MacBook. So before we go further, so why don't you download the file on the Anyone Python folder. So this is my Anyone Python folder. So as you can see, I download the file under the Anyone Python folder, then unzip the file. On MacBook, you can right click, then don't right click. You can just double click. You can double click the zip file, then is this the unzip. Then there's a folder. But only different thing is there's no another folder. So this is the project folder. So in this, the welcome window, you can select the open. Before that, the customize. So you can go to the customize and all setting. So first thing is a Python interpreter. It's basically same thing as the Windows. So if you do not see anything over here, click this one and show all. So I have a bunch of the Python interpreter because I installed the 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, like that. And if you do not see anything, plus. Then do not select the virtual environment system interpreter. So system interpreter, even I have the Python 2 and so on. So you can select whatever you want, but not whatever you want. The Python 3.9 or 3.8 that you install, you can select. Do not select the 3.2.7. We are not going to use 2.7. Then after you select OK, then you don't have to change the shell on your MacBook. It's only for the Windows. So tools and terminal, and then the shell is already done. So you don't have to change this. Do not change the shell for Mac version. And also for the system, so if you don't want to repeat the project, uncheck this one. I strongly suggest uncheck this. So appearance, system, and uncheck this. Then finally, you can select the directory. Then I'm going to go to this one. So I'm going to select this folder as a project. So how can we do that? The desktop and Anyone Python. This is the Anyone Python folder and Anyone Python S03-E01, and not this. So only the most inner the folder Anyone Python. Then open. Then it's exactly same as Windows. Then you are ready. But the only difference on your MacBook is instead of Python, you need to type Python 3. Okay, so Python 3. Then the first carol.py, enter. Then you will see the carol window. Then you are ready. Or if you want to run the intro.py, always a Python 3 and intro.py lead. Then you are ready to use. Okay, this is the Mac, but basically it's the same thing. Oh, sure. So everything is done. So I'm going to finalize, wrap up the class soon. Okay, any questions? Samuel, do you have the still questions? Okay, very nice. Okay, thanks so much for your attending. We are going to continue the episode 2 on Friday. Thanks so much.